Okay, so here we go. Ooh, no. Also, once you create a quest or an NPC or an alias, you cannot rename them. This is the fastest way to break stuff. So don't rename anything ever at all. If you have to, duplicate it and call it like 00AC real NPC or 00AC NPC try again. You know, like just make a new one. You'll be really happy you did when your stuff doesn't break and override. All right, so quest stages. We're going to start off with quest stage 0. This is pretty essential to have. It's just basically a monitoring stage for the quest, so the game is like, okay, this quest exists, even if you haven't activated it as the player yet. What you're going to do here is, did you see how I did that? You right-click and just hit New. When you do that, this index will pop up right here. I left that one at 0. You can change it right here, 10. Say I messed up and this is supposed to be stage 1. If you just long-click on that, you can change it to like 1 or whatever you want it to. I recommend structuring your main quest stages. So like, again, the main chapters in increments of 10. So 0, 10, 20, 30, 40 is probably what you guys will have. Up to 40, maybe 50. Depends on if you make killing the enemies a different objective. That allows you to do little sub-objectives within the quest stages. Basically what happens is if you like go to stage 10, say, by talking to an NPC, you can't go back to stage 4 or stage 5 or stage 6. So anytime you set the latest quest stage, that's the earliest one you can go to. So making those big increments of 10 is really great because it gives you a little bit of leeway, like say you expand your quest or decide you want to have more NPC conversations or whatever at other quest stages, and you don't have to worry about it not working or running. That's a little complicated. For me, it's easiest once you like actually start doing this stuff to understand it. But anyway, back to the matter at hand. So if you are here on index 0, you can right-click in this log entry area and hit New. This is the log that the player will actually see on their Pip-Boy in the game. You don't need one of these. I don't need this. Not necessary. But you'll see this in your on your Pip-Boy if you're looking at it in the game. So sometimes, like, I had one quest where the player was considering joining a cult, and so on their Pip-Boy, it would say, like, he almost talked me into it, but I decided not to, or like, whatever, stuff like that. This is a really great space to leave notes for yourself. I tend to leave notes for myself that tell me exactly what this stage does without me having to click on it. So I'll call this, like, quest begin, right here. Like that. Okay, so that's it. We have a stage of our quest. Now so you can see where it says the notes right here, and then this Y just means there is a log for that, so something will show up in the character's Pip-Boy. Let's change this back to stage 10 by long clicking. There we go. We're selected on this. You can right click and hit New. Once again, we're going to say, I talked to my custom NPC in Sanctuary. Sorry, my fingers are cold, so it's hard to type. Hills, and then I'm going to call this right here, talk to NPC. Okay, awesome. So now we have a quest stage. These can be triggered through scripts that are either applied to your quest, in your NPC's behavior, or through dialogue. So we've got our quest stages. We're going to make a quest objective, and then we'll go into how to create an actor and have a conversation with them to make something happen. So quest objectives work exactly like quest stages do. You see this objective index, track, and display text right here. If you right-click, you can hit New. You can change the index of this. I tend to make my major objectives match what stage they go with. So there's no objective at 0, but at stage 10, my objective is basically to talk to the NPC that's going to give me the quest. So my display text will probably say something like, talk to the quest giver. Don't ever make these longer than about 10 words because they pop up on the side of your screen and they just take up annoying blocks of text. They don't need to have cool names or anything like that. The player needs to know exactly what to do. When we get a little bit further, I can show you guys how to add a target. That basically, like, if my objective was to go down to Professor Skinner's office, it would set an objective on like a marker on Skinner's office, and I would know that I needed to like walk down and around and whatever to get to wherever he is. I don't know where his office is in relation to where we are. So okay, got our objective. We can make as many of these as we want to. You can change these indexes at any time. So 20, our objective is going to be go fetch the item. And then 30 will be return to NPC. And then, oh my god, Shit. Okay, that's good anyway. Every time you do something important, save. And your autosave will not work on your quest. So if you have autosave set up, still make sure, if you have to set a timer on your phone, do it. You will not regret saving anytime you save. So here we go. We've got 3 objectives. We have 2 quest stages. We have our quest data set up. Now let's make an alias. To make an alias, we need to first make a new actor. So my fetch quest is just going to be inside this room because I don't want to have someone outside in Sanctuary Hills, but you guys have to, so I can show you how to set up teleporting doors in a little bit. Okay, so actor first. Actor here, you right-click, same as a quest, don't duplicate and don't rename anything. Like, say there's one NPC you really love in the game, you don't want to duplicate it, you don't want to rename it, and you cannot use Fallout's standard AI in your quests. They will break. So, you always got to make your own. If you like the features that somebody has, just, like, take a screenshot of their features and then make it yourself. Okay, so we got a new one. We're going to call, come on, open. They have IDs, just like our quests and our spaces do. We're going to call her 000AC, Aspen. I'm going to name her Aspen. Aspen Clark, and short name is Aspen. Before you move on, there are 2 boxes. One box you're definitely going to want to check, and one box you're definitely going to want to consider checking. This box is unique. This allows you to basically, it says that only one of these actors will exist in the world, and that means that no other stock Fallout data can affect your NPC. So this box is essential to check. Always, always, always check the unique box. If your NPC isn't working how you think it should, that should be the first thing you check, that your unique box is checked. The other box you might want to consider checking is essential. This means you can't kill them. So Skeeter's favorite thing to do is to turn around and kill your quest-giving NPC the first thing he wants to do. So don't let him do that. Just check this box. Is Ghost literally makes them look like a ghost. Invulnerable just makes them invulnerable to damage from everything. This means that they are basically an essential NPC to run your quest in your mod. So do that. This is the point after I do ID, name, and essential and unique. I always hit OK. Save. And then again, that 00 makes it right at the top. Always good. I right-clicked in the actor menu. So if you go up to actors at the top here, select actor, and then you can right-click and do new. Yep. And there you go. So now we're going to make her a girl first. You'll see a ton of menus because that's just how this editor works. Are you raising your hand or stretching? Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. You can set essential on and off, but you have to do it through code. So the first thing you're going to want to edit is the traits. This will allow you to change the character's sex, and it will also allow you to set if you want to make a ghoul, you can do that or whatever. This is the way that Fallout does bodies, I guess. If you want her to be really thin, you can do like this, and then really muscular, say she's like this, like she's beefy, I guess, and also super thin. You can do these random too if you want to. I don't know. I don't really spend that much time on this part of it. If you want to put them in clothes, they're not walking around in their underwear. That's under the inventory tab here. A lot of these outfits are leather armor. That's, I guess, just what people wear in Fallout all the time. Just pick one. I don't like that one. So we're gonna, okay, there we go. She's in a dress. Great. So no need to assign a sleep outfit. That's just like a secondary step if you want your NPC to go to sleep and wear something different, I guess. But in this first project, don't worry about it. There we go. So isn't she lovely? She looks just like me. Here we go. Now we're going to go to character gen parts. So again, the order that you want to do this is this data over here. Hit OK. You want to go traits. Yeah. There are some outfits that have hats attached to them. Correct. Yes. Yeah. That's AI markers. We'll go over that next once we create them. So, okay, inventory. I gave her an outfit. So again, that's this data, traits, inventory. Next, if you want to change their hair color, again, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. The default hair that Fallout has is this, this, reddish, my my preview is broken. I don't know why. If you're seeing your NPC in this view and you want to see them closer up so you can edit their face, double click on head right here, and they should stay in that closed position, but mine has been broken for like a year and I don't know why. Hair color, you can change it. I don't know. They're all sort of the same. You will not see the hair color on your NPC update in this window. So if you're like, I'm changing the hair color, why isn't it working? It is. You just can't see it in this window because Fallout decided you can't. There's different types of hair colors and hair types you can have. If you want to change their eyes, it's very hard to notice eyes in this game, but say I wanted to. Okay, she'll have dark gray eyes because I guess she's like a YA novel heroine. And you can give them different hair. This you will see change. You have to double click on head again though to make it show you what it did. So now she has stupid hair. They have like probably 20 different hairstyles, but they're just different variants of them. If you want to change their skin tone, you can do that too. You have to hit OK first though. So you go there, open this again. It's a lot of opening and closing menus. You can see now why you shouldn't do something complicated for your first project. Skin tone here. They have a bunch of presets, so you can make them as dark as you want or as light as you want, pretty much. So I tend to not go for 1 unless I'm looking for a character to like look really, really pale. If you want someone that looks like sort of Caucasian, I suggest this. A little darker, down like 9, 10, and 11, and 5 are the ones that I tend to use for my NPCs. It's just a personal preference, I guess. So now we can drag me into the world. Hooray, there I am. And you can see that even though her hair looks red in the editor, it's not red here because it's not. Okay, so there we go. Now she's going to stay here, over there. If we entered the game right now, she would just be standing here and not doing anything. That's because we don't have a Navmesh. I'm going to talk about some other quest stuff before we get to Navmesh, because that stuff is more important for you guys to know. We can always talk about Navmesh later. It's a really easy thing to add on. So that'll answer your question about like how to make them sit in chairs and things like that. Oh, okay. They can, yeah. You can assign them to just be sitting. See how this like chair has a blue marker here? So you can basically just assign an NPC to always like be sitting, or always be standing, or always be digging or running or whatever you want them to be doing. That's using a system called AI markers, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Boy, this looks scary now. Okay, so we will go back to our quest now. So just a quick review. We created a quest. We created a quest stage. We created several quest objectives, and then we just created an NPC. So that can all be done in about 25 minutes. Now we're getting into the part that takes a lot longer. Creating a very, very base quest takes about, with say 3 scenes of dialogue, 4 hours your first time. So just a super, super basic fetch quest, 4 to 5 hours of work. Just keep that in mind as you guys are going forward. Okay, so let us make this NPC an alias. So aliases are basically like, do you guys remember in Unity when you would type like public game object player and then have to assign the player to that in the Unity editor? This is basically the same thing that aliases do in Fallout. So you can right click here and you can create a new reference alias. Oh, please don't crash. Not doing anything complicated. There we go. Okay, I guess that window isn't going to open though. Okay, here we go. Yeah, exactly. So here we go. This is the quest editor. So the alias name. This is not a name that the player will see, so just call it something that you'll remember and put alias at the end of it. Like I'll just call this Aspen alias. So here we go. If I was making 4 or 5 of them, I would call them like Aspen alias, Sierra alias, Julie alias, Willie alias. That's my family's names, in case you're wondering. Okay, this is another reason you want unique actor to be checked on your NPCs, because you can assign the value of your alias to be a unique actor. So if you want your quest to be able to reference one of your custom NPCs, it has to be set to unique. And if you ever create a quest and you can't find your NPC in this dropdown, it's probably because unique is not checked. So there we go. So if we drop this down, I can assign any, but do not assign Fallout's standard people unless they're like a stock raider or a stock bloodbug or whatever as aliases in your quest. So, okay, we're going to assign me as the alias here. Hit OK. There we go. Now we have an alias that's referencing me. What an alias allows you to do is create dialogue scenes. So an alias, the fact that like your quest now knows that this NPC exists means that your quest doesn't have to go searching for it and Fallout's huge data files, and it'll be much easier, in fact it would be impossible without it, to create scenes with new dialogue. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry, no one had their hits. Okay, here we are in the Scenes tab. So again, quest data is here, stages are here, objectives, alias. Do not try to add dialogue in the player dialogue tab. That is not what it's for. I don't know what it's for, but it's not for adding player dialogue. Same with command dialogue. Scenes are what you want. So don't try to make a new scene without first doing this process. So if you just like start putting stuff in here, all of your NPCs and all of the NPCs in Fallout's like base game will say all your dialogue no matter what they're supposed to do. So don't do that. Instead, you're going to do exactly what we did with quest stages, and you're going to right-click and hit New. Okay, now this is where your scene ID pops up. So do not delete the first couple things that are up there. This is that 000AC, Demo for Quest Lab. This allows you to basically scroll through all of your scenes and just see, like, immediately, okay, this is the one that I made to show C28 how to do this stuff, and this is, like, the first time you talk to the character. But you should append it. So 000AC, Demo for Lab, I'll call this Character Greeting. There you go. Okay. So the first time you set up a scene is a little bit complicated. Again, this is a good thing to just like do over and over again and kind of practice. Before you start checking boxes and adding actors and stuff, you want to make sure that you've selected the scene you want to edit here. If you just do it here, then all the NPCs will say it and you'll be very sad. So here we go. You're going to check this box that says player dialogue right here. There you go. And you'll see this start phase, and then this weird box pop up, and that other gray box. So this is an indication that you have the very, very beginnings of a working dialogue scene. If you right-click, you're going to go to New Actor. So, as you can see, the actors that pop up as an option are my little alias called Aspen, and then the player default. You do not need to add the player default to a scene if you just want the player to have a conversation with one NPC. Yeah. From where? Sure. Okay, so in this white area out here, New Actor. Yep. So again, make sure you're selected on here, right-click, New Actor. And then we're going to click on Aspen Alias and hit OK, or you can double-click. So the first thing that you're going to see pop up is this Start Greeting box. If I could scroll this out, which I can't, it would say like Aspen Alias Greeting or whatever. Greetings are really important. They are basically like the first thing that is coded into a character that they will say to the player. You can have different greetings for different scenes, that's not what matters. But if you ever find yourself, like say I decided that I don't want this scene anymore, and I deleted it, then the character will still often try to say that greeting. So if you guys are ever like, I deleted the scene, why is my character still saying the first line? Just remember that I'm telling you about this now, and not Facebook, Slack me so I can help you, because it's a really easy problem to solve, but it's not one we're going to go into right now. So the first thing you're going to do, double click on this area, and it'll say New Greeting Topic ID. So this is at the beginning of each scene, there's one of these special greetings. That's essentially the line of code that starts the scene. So each one should have a memorable name, so like a variable. So I'm going to call this First Greeting, like that. Bless you. Okay, now a whole bunch of boxes are going to pop up, and you're not going to pay attention to any of them. So this one pops up, you're going to hit OK. This one pops up, you're going to hit OK. This one pops up, you're going to hit OK. Ignore it forever. Now you should see Start Greeting with this white box underneath. Double click on the white box, not on the gray box. This is like so stupid. All right, so now you should see this option for response text. And if you're thinking to yourself, but Aspen, you clicked away from that menu and now it's the same one that you're just seeing. You are correct. If you don't click out of it the first time and then click back into it and do it again, sometimes it won't save your data. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're just going to say, this is like the first thing that Aspen is going to say to everybody. So it's like, hi, how's it going? Great. Okay. So now if I hit OK, and I hit OK again, hello. Now I can say, hi, how's it going to everybody? All right. Now we're getting into the stuff that you want to actually have, like player dialogue and a conversation. So you're going to do the same thing that I did to create a new greeting, and you're going to do this. Instead of new actor this time, you're going to hit add phase at end. Phases are basically how conversations work. The same way that quest stages dictate like what's happening in the quest, phases dictate what's happening in the scene. So the phases move linearly, basically, like a flowchart. So like after Aspen says, hi, how's it going? Move on to phase 1, move on to phase 2, move on to phase 3, stuff like that. You can script little like back and forth things if you want to, but for this first project, you should not do that. Okay, now here we go. We want to add a player dialogue, like, you know, I'm going to greet you, you're going to say hello. Right-click inside of this white box. Again, you want to always make sure that you're right-clicking or clicking in the exact area that you want to be clicking, because if I right-click out here, there's no point. Oh, wait, actually, before you do that, I always forget to do this, and you have to do it. You have to name your phases, okay? As you can see, it's easy to forget because I just forgot to do it. So we're going to call this first player response. It does not matter what you name these phases as long as they are named. So as you can see now, if I click on this, I can set, oh, shoot, it's going to do that thing again. Hang on, we have to do the thing. If you ever find that you don't have the option you want, like in a drop-down menu, close it, reopen it. So before, this said scene 000 scene, blah, 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 and that phase said none. But now it says first player response. So this is basically like if you for some reason wanted to skip this phase and go straight to phase 2, you could do that here. You should not, but you can. All right, so now we have our phase properly named. We have our scene ready to go. We have our NPC that's ready to talk to the player. Got to add some player dialogue. Right click in this area. Again, you should see a bunch of grayed out stuff, including just copy, track, remove, and new action. And you want player dialogue. There you go. And we're going to do the same thing we did before. Even though these look like very helpful, wonderful, nice menus, we're going to click out of all of them. We're going to hit apply, because you should always hit apply. Okay, now, those of you who know Fallout, or know anything, should see that there are 4 of these boxes. And Fallout has those 4 dialogue options that take place in the cross. Now it's time to add dialogue to each of these. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is add a prompt, because the NPC just, like, talks to you. The NPC just says, hi, how's it going? And then if Fallout's going to pop up that little crosshair, and you're going to have 4 different options of what you can say. So you can say, hi, back. And then this is that's going to pop up on that little, like, crosshair. And then in this box, we can say, hi, Aspen. Oops, it's not going in. How's it going? Great. Okay. There we go. And on this one, we're going to say, bye. We're going to say, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And then, okay, here we go. And then for the other 2, so this is the positive and negative. These 2 are like pretty much essential. The other 2 are, I think, like a question and intimidation or sarcastic or whatever Fallout defines them as. You don't need to necessarily adhere to that. We'll just make this one a question anyway. Question. And then you guys are going to ask, how do I make a quest in Fallout? And then, oops, here we go. So as you can see already, this process is pretty time consuming. So if you've planned out, like, I want to have 5 scenes with a bunch of NPCs. No, you don't. No, you don't. The other thing is, you can only have 150 characters per box of dialogue. So, yeah, I know, heartbreaking, right? There's a way to sort of get around it and make slightly longer things, but right now, you should not be focusing on that. You should be focusing on just learning these basics. As you can see, there's a lot to do. Yeah?
What order does it come in? You always question.
Yes, I think so. I mean, that's just... We were never taught like a standard for it, but since players know the game that way, I think it makes the most sense to do it that way. Yeah.
Do you have to type in out the response to what the player chooses?
Yes. So the prompt is what you'll see in that little, you know, like the NPC says, hi, how's it going? And then you'll see the 4 little options. And if you click hi, then the character will say, hi, Aspen, you know, or whatever. So like for this one, you would see, I don't know, whatever. So you would see whatever pop up on your thing, and then your character would actually say, whatever, Aspen, I don't need this shit. There we go. Okay, so that's what your character's going to say. These 4 boxes over here are what the NPC is going to say in response. So to save some time, I'm not going to write all of them. I'm just going to write one. We're going to do this one. Hi, Aspen, how's it going? You don't need to make a prompt for the NPC response. You should leave this one empty for the NPC response. You can just go straight to this response text, and you can see the 0 out of 150. You can watch that slowly dribble away as you write even the slightest word. So I'll say, it's going great, but I lost my box of stuff, which is the thing that I want the player to find for me. Okay, there we go. So, okay, it's going great, but I lost my box of stuff. That's the response. So now we've got this little scene. If we started the game right now and went to this cell, we would be able to see Aspen, the character, say, hi, how's it going? And then you could choose one of these 4 options and say, hi, Aspen, and hi, how's it going? And I would say, it's going great, but I lost my box of stuff. Now, we're going to attach a quest stage to this. So, after I say, it's going great, but I lost my box of stuff, you can then go find my box of stuff and make me happy. So down here, you see these scripts right here. If you want your dialogue to check something on begin, for instance, like, I killed your best friend, and you want to not talk to me if I killed your best friend, you would do that on begin. But if you want to set a quest stage or do something in response to something I say, you want to do that on end. Those are listed right here, on begin, on end. So parent quest stage right here, you can just pick one. Oh, look at that. So look at that. Okay, great. We talked to the NPC. Awesome. So now we have set parent quest stage. If you want to run a custom papyrus fragment, we can talk about that maybe at Project 2. For now, you guys should pretty much just be setting quest stages through dialogue. So here we go. We've got yay. And you can see QE10 here. If I set this to change on the beginning, it would be QB10. So it's still like QE means like quest stage at end or whatever. So now we've got, again, hi, how's it going? Hi, Aspen, how's it going? It's going great, but I lost my box of stuff. Awesome. Now this is a very, very simple scene. If we wanted to restart the scene, oh god, I haven't done this in a while. Okay, so now we're going to call this restart. Say, like, I only want you to be able to talk to me more if you accept my quest, which is to find my box of stuff. You can make a new phase at the end using that same technique. By the way, left click scrolls along this. Right click will not, it will just open weird menus. So yeah, left click scrolls along here. You can also drag it up to the top, and I used to be able to do that, but I guess not anymore. Also, you'll find that when you expand windows and extend things, you often get these big gray boxes. They'll just go away after a while. Just be patient. Okay, so we've got a new phase called Phase 2, Restart here. You want a new action, and you want to go Start Scene. So, here we go. Again, ignore the menu it opens the first time. There we go. Okay, now we've got our Restart, first player response. Before you try to script anything in here, hit OK, and save again. Again, restarting scenes is one of the things that Creation Kit does not like to do. It can do it, but it does not like to. So here we are back again in the Scenes tab after saving and hitting OK. If we open this, we can now see my actor here. Jeez. Okay, so, sorry. I'll actually explain that now. I had to make sure I knew how to do it. Alright, so in this Editor ID phase conditions thing, you can hit New, the same way that you've done new quest stages, objectives, and actors. And then you can pick your scene right here, and you can pick your phase where you want it to restart. So you don't want your character to say their start screening over and over again. You really just want this to be like, he said no, go back, go forward, whatever. So, okay, first player response, that will take us back to the part where you guys said, hi, how's it going? And I said, it's great, but I lost my box of stuff. Okay, there we go. Excellent. Does this make sense to everybody so far? I know it's like a lot, but I think you guys can get it. Okay. Yes, I'm sure you will. Okay, so here we go. Now we want this scene to restart if you guys choose to say something to me that isn't, hi Aspen, how's it going? So I'm going to click on one of the other options. It says bye. And I'm going to, oh no, I lied. I don't need to do that. It's just going to go through that. That's what we're going to do. Okay, we just need to type some crap here. Some crap. Okay, so if you don't stop your scene from ending, it will just go straight to the next stage, and when it gets here, it'll basically be kicked back to the first stage and keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it until you decide to pick this option. We already did the one component, which was setting up the the set stage here. There's one more, which is end running scene. This will end the scene that is currently being played by your actor. You can have this after 20 phases of dialogue, you can have it after just your start greeting, whatever. But this is how you get your character to stop prompting the NPC to talk to you again and again and again. So end running scene is like an essential thing to click here. Okay, so now we've got, how's it going? Hi, Aspen's going great, blah, 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 lots of stuff. It should restart over and over again if we don't say, how's it going? Okay, so here we go. We saved it. So now we've got a quest with several stages, several objectives, a custom NPC with custom dialogue to, basically like that restarts the scene over and over again if you want to, and that will move you forward if you don't. If you say the right thing. So, are there any questions at this point before I move on? Yes, sorry, is that your hand in the back? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. So the same way that it runs phase to phase here, that will keep happening. So basically, like, if I run phase to phase here, so like, if I get to this point, this quest action makes it just kick back to here and restart. So it's almost like a loop, like an endless loop of if I don't pick anything, like even if you pick how to make a quest in Fallout or whatever, Aspen, I don't need this, like even though there's not a response here, it'll go forward and then kick you back. So that's why you have to check end running scene on the one that you want to end the scene. Does that make sense? Did you have another question? No? Okay, cool. Yeah? Okay. That's an option. You would need to control it with some variables, but so the easiest way to do that is basically just to have like two phases of this essentially. So to say like, hi Aspen, how's it going? It's going great, but I lost my box of stuff. And then the next phase you would say, like your 4 options, one of them might be help Aspen find it. And then your option would be like, can I help you find it? And she would say, yes, please help me find my box of stuff. Or, no, not now. But the easiest way to do it is to, it's probably just going to play the same scene over and over again, unless you want to actually do stuff with variables. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. No, at least not as far as I remember. This is the place that you need to actually do that. Inside this secondary tab, this scene data tab. If I'm wrong and you're right, then this is the way to do it.
So on the
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're starting with first player response. I'm going to change this back because, I don't know. Actually, no, I think you're right. Either he's right or I'm right, which is, if this doesn't work, then it's probably because of this line. As you'll quickly find out, you'll learn this editor and then forget it and then second guess yourself the next day and then forget it again. If you want to have the NPC basically say, sort of like an answer to your question, if you say, no, I don't want to take your quest, and then you want the scene to end there too, you can also check end scene on here. So like, sorry about your box of stuff. End running scene. Okay, so now the scene will end if I accept the quest, and it will move me forward in the quest if I accept it. Or it will end the scene, and it will not move me forward to the next phase of the quest. Does that make sense? I would repeat the same thing. She would say, hi, how's it going? Because it's the same quest stage. So this is another part of dialogue that's pretty confusing and like a little bit of an intricacy that you guys need to remember. After you have your base scene set up, you need to set conditions for which NPC says what thing. Because if I started this right now, Codsworth would probably start trying to say this scene. And that's because I haven't limited it to just the person who I want to talk saying this stuff at the appropriate time. So I'm doing this in my start greeting. So this is basically, the reason you do it in your start greeting is because it's the very first thing the NPC says, and the game is always sort of outputting little signals, checking for that start greeting and what its data is. Okay, so we're going to click on, Yeah.
Will the NPCs physically say these things from like a bank of
They go like this.
vocabulary? No, I mean like audibly.
No.
Okay. That's what I was like,
Do not try to put voice files in this game. Do not. Your characters will not talk. Accept it. That's where I'm leading that. Accept it. Yes.
I know like towns where you have like a bank of names.
Yes, because Bethesda gave him a bank of names.
Right.
Like, no, they don't. It's basically like big complex data. Like someone in my cohort tried to do it and he almost got a radio working, but like it didn't work. But your characters are not going to talk and their mouths are probably not going to move. So just love that. Accept it. No, not in this editor. It would also, huh? Yeah, but it won't work. Yeah, I know. So yeah, you need like all sorts of shit to get your characters to talk. I have yet to figure it out. If you want to dive into it, don't do it now, and prioritize literally everything in your quest before you try to do it. That type of thing, like from a totally outside perspective, is not what they're looking for in your portfolio. They're looking for nicely put together, aesthetically sound work. You know, not that it has voice acting. So prioritize that way if you can't prioritize any other way. Yeah. Yes, but I'm not going to teach it to you now because that will make you keep your dialogue short for your first project. I'll teach it to you next week. So, because there's like, at this point, just a simple fetch quest, there's no reason why your character needs to say more than, please go in that house and find my stuff. You know? Then shorten it. So, okay. This is the last thing I'm going to teach you guys, so pay attention. Okay, here we go. This is conditions. So you guys might remember from scripting, conditional statements, if statements. You're basically going to write an if statement that says, if this NPC is the NPC who is trying to talk to me and the quest stage is this particular quest stage, say this thing. So you're going to hit new here. Again, I went in the conditions area, sorry. Conditions, new. Get is ID is default there. If you just hit this parameters, use aliases right here, then when it pops up, it should know what your quest aliases are. So basically, get is ID is like a function where the game is fetching like your ID of your actor and is trying to do it. This is always what it goes to, this weird empty footsteps decal for testing. You don't want it to be that. You want to know if your NPC is the one who's talking. So you want to go if get the ID of this person is Aspen equals 1. 1 is true in Bethesda talk. Okay, so now we're saying this response will happen. I will say, hi, how's it going? If it is me talking to you right now. We're going to add another one that is if it is me talking to you at quest phase 0. Because if you have 2 or 3 scenes with your character talking, then you... How many scenes do you have your character talking, Ryan? Yeah? Uh-huh. 4. That's how many you should have. Okay, so now we can do a new condition. New. And then where this drop-down menu is here, so you can have all sorts of things. You can have people talk when they're dead. You can have people talk when if it's a woman or a man or whatever. We're going to do get stage. If I can find it. And no, there's no way to sort this menu. You can try, but it won't work. Get stage. Okay. So you can either do get stage or get stage done. Get stage is usually the best for the beginning of the quest. So get stage, and then it'll know what quest you want because it's looking at the quest that owns this script, and you can choose the value you want it to be, so 0. So I want my NPC to say this if it is at quest stage 0, and if it is me. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah, this is like the most straightforward part of the whole thing. Okay, so here we go. Again, we have our scene that's starting. It's going to play the player first response if we are at stage 0 on this quest and the actor is me. Here we go. And if that is the truth, I remembered why we don't do this. So see how this is now underneath everything? That's because I changed this to say phase 1 first player response. So you want this to always be only the last phase because it'll try to restart at every point that this is active for. So if you leave it active for the whole scene, then you'll just get like a weird endless loop of like your character doing its greeting. So you only want it to say in that first part, actor, Aspen alias, start, whatever your last phase is, end, whatever your last phase is, and then that scene info is where you say which part of the scene you want to restart. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. I'm glad that you mentioned that because I would have forgotten. Okay, so, yes, Nick. Mm-hmm. For the specific stage of my quest. So if you look at my quest stages, 0 is quest begin, and 10 is talk to NPC. So you need to remember which type of parameter you're using, and then define it like as a variable. So if I wanted my character to say that at quest stage 10, I would have changed where it said get stage to 10 instead of 1 or 0. But if you're using booleans, 1 is true and 0 is false. -1 is like a negative that's like is the player, but don't use that. Okay, so now we have a super duper basic quest, and we also have this little basic area where we're going to talk to Aspen. So, okay, have you guys learned about marker headings yet and teleporting to your custom cells? Yeah? CSC marker heading? Okay, pop one in there. Have you learned about snapping to the grid in the editor yet? Good, okay, awesome. I remember I posted about that in Slack, but I wasn't sure if you guys knew what I was talking about or saw it. Did I show you how to show the sky in your cells? If you have little areas of, like, brightness, you won't get that weird void thing?
Yes.
Okay, good. I have that video, too, which I can upload now. The school didn't want me to, but I'm, like I said, just going to put it on YouTube. So, yeah, by the way, these labs are, like, half a secret, so don't, like, tell Steve that I'm doing this. So, okay, here we go. We're going to test this now just to make sure everything's working. That's where this button comes in handy. This is basically pushing the plug into your PC, so it knows that it is doing this. I need to go in about 10 minutes, so we're just going to test it now. Before I test it, do you guys have any questions about the stuff that I covered? Yes.
Okay. Have you set a dialogue to jump a state? Like, if I accept the quest, it goes to the state where they know I've accepted the quest. Or if I refuse the quest, it goes to, like, stage 2 instead of stage 3, because now they have like a different set of dialogue for, oh, are you going to do my quest now?
Yeah, that's what someone else was asking that too. It is possible. It is not inside the scope of this first project. You guys should not be worrying about that. I'm telling you, I know you guys want to do cool story stuff and narrative stuff and whatever, but you've seen how hard it's been for me to do this, and I've been doing Fallout for 1.5 years, and like pretty much straight. And so you want to do something easy this first time. Just for you, I'll show you how to make characters say more than 150 words. This is a last-ditch effort. You should not do this. So, okay, here we go. You gave me such a sad look when I said you couldn't, and so I have to. Okay, so here we go. No. So, here we go. It's going great, but I lost my box of stuff. That box of stuff meant everything to me. It had so much stuff to do with my tragic backstory. And I just want... Uh-oh, I'm over the limit. Okay, so, and I just... No, ignore. Yeah, watch that over the limit bar. And I just right-click, new. Want all of you to know my tragic backstory, especially Ryan. There we go. All right. So, oh yeah, just add words it doesn't want to your dictionary if you're sure they're spelled right, like backstory. That's obviously an essential word. Okay, so now it will say the first thing, and then it will go to a second screen and say the second thing. The way it works basically is like you'll see the whole first block, the whole first 150 characters as a text block, and then it'll like flash the second one just like a subtitle. So that's how that's going to go. Again, that's just new, and then you can do a new thing. Don't get confused and try to do, I've done this in the past where like, I can't even remember how I did it because I probably like blocked it from my mind. There's a way that you can screw this up, but don't just follow the video and do what I did here. Yeah, so now you can see like, see this line right there, that's sort of like an or symbol. That's like where it's going to show a new screen right there. So that is your secret, and if Skinner gets mad at you for having too much dialogue, it's not my fault. Okay, So any other questions before I just show you guys this really quick? And I'm like only about 85% sure this is even gonna work. So yeah. Mhm.
So for that question, if you make another one,
Yeah.
is that like just the second stage of the conversation?
It is.
Or does it have like a conversation? It's like if you're like, I need more info or whatever. It's like after you, sometimes it's like it gives you info and it's like different types of info. Like,
Yeah, so like if you say, you know, how do I make a quest in Fallout? And then I say, it's a complicated process. Here, let me tell you more. I know it's spelled wrong, fuck it. Yay, spell check. It's not very good spell check, so be sure to add it yourself. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna go, oh, hang on, I gotta name this. Actual restart. Okay, so now, yeah, okay. You can do a new action and then player dialogue here. So now if you went here, you could ask me like, how do I make a quest in Fallout? It's a complicated process. Here, let me tell you more. And then you could ask me like quests, aliases, objectives, stages, or lighting or whatever. If you want to skip this phase after like whatever, Aspen, I don't need this shit. I'm going home. I'm going home. And say you don't want to play the next phase after that. Oh my god, okay. You can have it skip to, oh shoot, I used to know how to do this. The easiest way to do that is to have it do it through, are you gonna let me do this? Yeah, okay. Oh god, I have to do this again, hang on. So basically, each little dialogue option has like a thing where you can restart. You can pick like which phase it goes to after you do it. So like start scene on end, you can say like 00 AC demo phase, and then you can do actual restart and hit start scene on end there. And now after you finish, I'm going home, it'll restart this. So basically like we've covered all our bases now. This isn't a great way to do this. The easiest way to do it is to, in my opinion, is to like change the quest stage here to like, say you had a stage 11 that was like, ask Aspen more info about Fallout. You could have the NPC say like, instead of it's a complicated process, here let me tell you more, have them say, ask me again in a second. Or like, 1 sec, I have to get my shit together. And then when you like basically change a quest stage at that point, and then when they talk to you again, you can just have them tell you more information. But this way that I showed you will work too. And, you know, again, then you just have to go through this horrendous process of quests. God. Quests. Lights. Etc. And then you can have, you know, like, I don't want to talk about lighting. Screw you. I'm going to end the running scene here. You know, or whatever. Or say you've now successfully asked me about quests, and now you as a human being are doing so good. I'm doing so good. And now you can change the quest stage because you did so good that I'm, you know, you can now go get my box of stuff. Congratulations. So, you know, again, that's QE10 here. That's setting a quest stage on end. And this is ending the running scene via that checkbox. Does that make sense? Okay. Again, this type of stuff, you guys are going to want to test a lot. This is probably the longest I've ever gone creating a quest and not testing it immediately. I test after everything, and you should too. And you should not teleport to yourself from the main menu. Everyone in my cohort did this the first time we made quests in Fallout, and like half of our quests didn't work because we had forgotten to set stuff up. But if you teleport from the main menu instead of just from Sanctuary Hills or from the very base character or using Skinner's save or whatever, some of the data doesn't translate over, so like you think it's working, but then it's actually not working. Okay, so let's test this. Does anybody else have any more questions before I close the editor? No? I know it's a lot. Okay, here we go. Wait for it to close. I'm not looking up, so if you have one, just say it. I took breaks every 45 minutes and went and stared out my window, and I learned a lot about storytelling that didn't have to do with dialogue. That's like a really important thing, is even if you look in the little cell that I built for you guys, you can tell there's like a little bit of environmental storytelling there. Like there's one corner where there's a stack of books and a lantern and 4 pillows, so you know this person likes to read. There's a little corner where there's children's toys, so you know they might have a kid, or at least have someone who's younger who matters to them. There's 2 beds in the house, so you know there's 2 people who live there. Things like that. Like, players pick up on a lot of those things, and you guys shouldn't feel like you need to expressly say everything you want to communicate to make it hard. Another thing is, take your first story idea and throw it out the window, because it's probably edgy and melodramatic. Because everybody's first story idea is always edgy and melodramatic. Yeah, exactly. And then also just, like, lean on each other. You know, you guys are a really good resource, and of course C27 are too. Like, we're always here to help you. Yeah, did you have something?
Are some future assignments going to compound on each other, or is it kind of like starting a fresh project?
They will compound on each other, but then, like, just sort of your final one is like a big project that you'll do. I can show you guys my final one next time if you want. If you want to see, like, because I still have my first and second ones versus my final one, and I can show you, like, the differences between them. But what you should focus on right now is just, like, learning. Okay, Navmesh. This is how you get to the Navmesh mode. It looks like the little wireframe thing. Shoot, how do I do this now? Okay, if you right-click, a little diamond comes. That's not the Sims logo. If you hit Control and put another one down, that'll do that. Control and put another one down, that's a triangle. Your friend will stand on the triangle. If you want to make 2 triangles, click one, hit Control. Click a second one, hit Control. Click a third. There you go. Now, conveniently, I have done a good job, and I can build my Navmesh just like that, really, really easily. Good job, Aspen. We're going to save it. Okay, what time is it? Sweet. I have just enough time to show you guys this. Hopefully, my NPC will be standing there now. If not, there might be a little bit more of a problem. Another thing, Bethesda frequently updates this editor, and it might break a lot of your stuff. Get used to that. They did a 1.5 gig update on New Year's that was for Fallout 76 that broke everybody in my cohort's quests from the last year. So, okay. Yeah. It does. Have Skinner help you set it up. I don't know if you were there last time, but I am not the person to ask Perforce questions to. I'm, like, notorious for breaking Perforce, so the programmers hate me. What? One time I did. We had a thing on my team for Capstone where if you broke Perforce, you had to do a really dramatic apology to the whole team, which was kind of fun. So yes, I owed my team a very dramatic apology. Oh yeah, another thing, you guys. If you guys have any TGP questions, feel free to reach out to me on Slack or in person. I know TGP is like a thing this semester because it's so different than last semester. Again, those of you who will pay attention during the level designer thing, I was one of the GDs on that project, so I have a lot of insight about both how leadership works and how leadership doesn't work. So if you need to know, let me know. Please be standing there. Oh yeah, also get used to, like, praying to your computer. That's... Yay, she's there!